Hey everybody, this is the annual top-down analysis of the Forex market. And it looks like 2022 is going to be a very interesting year. So what the charts tell us that we should see weakness in the US dollar as well as in the yen. And we should see surprisingly strength in the British pound currency, as well as the Swiss franc and the New Zealand dollar, well, as well as the Canadian dollar. But let's have a look here at the individual charts from a higher time frame perspective. So this is a monthly chart and this is the weekly chart. Now here, the euro dollar monthly chart, well, we have to actually zoom out a little bit. So what we see here, well, this is a very long multi-year consolidation. This is an S1 pattern, and this line, this green line, is a very important line. So the bulls have tried to get there several times. So this is here beginning of 2018, they couldn't, right? Now in 2021, well, they couldn't. Well, we're basically forming a big base, a multi-year base, right? That goes hand in hand with this consolidation. That basically means that the bulls are, the longer it takes actually to re-break this important green line, the longer it takes, well, the bulls are taking in energy, right, in order to break this resistance. Well, if they do, well, then we should actually see very nice follow through. These are stop run levels, and price should develop the way it is basically drawn here, running through those stop run levels. That's an S1 pattern. Now, forming a base below this flat line, well, we've got a triple bottom here, right? And then we've got another, well, we have four bottoms basically. Well, this bar here, well, let's just get it a little bit closer again. Well, this bar has a big wick, top and bottom wick, right? That's a Corona panic bar in March 2020. So that marks an important turning point, not only here in the euro dollar, but in many other pairs. And the turning point is basically, well, we've been in an intermediate downtrend, and it has turned around, right? Not only that, we had a bearish pattern here that failed. It's always a counter trend signal, and now we are forming a bullish pattern. Well, that's actually here on the weekly chart, a bullish S1 pattern. And we're waiting now for a rebreak of this line, which is the first step, and then we're waiting for a rebreak of this overall line. So we're basically still here building the base, right? Bringing in energy. And if prices go higher, well, that's the euro dollar. Well, that means that the dollar is getting weaker and the euro is getting stronger. And the next target then would actually be the 1.4 number. Let's have a look at a couple of other charts now. The euro against the pound. I already mentioned the pound seems well, interestingly strong, right? So something is going on with the pound. And here we can see again the coronavirus spike bar, March 2020. A big wick, well, that's a rejection bar at an important level, right? Well, some call it hammer. A hammer only makes sense if it's an important level, so you have to see it embedded, right? And this is a multi-bar consolidation. Well, that was actually a bullish S1 pattern. It didn't show any follow through. So if an S1 long fails, well, that's a counter trend signal, and that's what we see currently playing out, right? So I see this an important turning point, and we should actually see prices drop quite a bit. So there should be a pound strength against the euro. Well, we'll see. It's not only against the euro, it's against other pairs too. Now let's have a look at the Swiss franc here, the euro against the Swiss. So this was the former peg level, right? When the Swiss National Bank had pegged it, and then this was the unpeg. And we can see nicely how charting turns out, right? This pullback. So then when there was a free float again of the euro against the Swiss, this pullback came to the pip, to this old peg level 12000, right? It came here, tested it, a very important psychological level, the prior peg, and since then it's falling apart, right? And the Swissy is a very strong currency, and we can see it. I mean, that's for many years. This is an important level, and we're basically shooting now for this level, right? That's the stop run level. If this gets broken, well, we're going to see big red bars here on this chart. So we're still here basically consolidating, right, after the pullback. So all this can be seen as a consolidation, and we have broken, right, important resistance. So basically the way is free, right, for we might get another pullback, and then we should actually see a lot of Swiss strength coming in this year, or even the years to follow. Now let's have a look at the CAD, Euro CAD. Now Euro CAD is a little special because we've got a triple top here, right? So the third top again here, well, that's a coronavirus spike, the fear spike bar. Well, the CAD has been showing strength for quite some time, right, here against the euro. So it's basically in a topping formation, triple top. And it looks like, well, these are great stop run levels, right? So it looks like it's making its way, right, through this reversal pattern. Now this is a stop run level we have to get through, right? And then this is the next one, and this is the next one. So the Canadian dollar looks quite bullish. And if we zoom in, like if we look at a weekly chart, right, we zoom in now a little bit, well, that looks very constructive, right? I mean, we've got a triple top again here. It has broken to a new low. It's respecting nicely the 21 moving average here, the blue line. That's what we're looking for, right, in a trend. That the 21 is nicely protected, and we've got patterns within patterns, and we have clusters, right? So that's a 200. Price finds a resistance here, and resistance, the resistance with the 200. So we see a lot of bearishness here as well coming from the weekly chart. So that means Canadian dollar bullishness, right? Now let's have a look at the British pound against the dollar. Now if price goes up, well, that means pound strength and dollar weakness. We can see already here that there's pound strength, dollar weakness coming in. This is an S1 pattern again. We see quite a number of S1 patterns currently. That's an S1 pattern long, and it's about to trigger here, right? If the line rebreaks, it triggers an entry. We're basically here in an early uptrend, and this again is marked by this coronavirus spike, right? So it has been actually in a downtrend, and March 2020 has turned around a lot of trends, and this is the same here. So I see pound strength as well against the dollar, and should we break this line, well, then actually we've got some very nice top run levels, right? It's consolidation high is one, and it clusters with this one here. So we could actually crash through this level with the power of the pattern in the back, and then spike the 200 moving average here on the monthly chart. So that's the way to go here for the pound US. Now let's have a look at the yen, at the yen pair. I mentioned already that the yen is showing weakness. Well, weakness, it has been showing weakness for quite some months already. So we have traded this year in the group quite extensively as well on lower time frames. This is an S1 pattern. Swiss strength against yen weakness, and it has nicely triggered here long, right? And it's let's have a look here. Okay, well, the corona spike was not very pronounced with this chart. Well, it had already turned around into an uptrend, right? And it's just resuming and following its uptrend, and it's always nice to get patterns, right? Bullish patterns in an uptrend. Now with the pound Swiss chart, we've got two nice stop run levels, and then not only act as levels through which price crashes through, but they act as well as magnets, right? So price is actually attracted by this magnet, so it's a pull and then push through. This is the idea, and this is what we have already been in an uptrend. There was a longer consolidation, and now it looks like we're gaining some momentum here with Swiss bullishness and yen weakness. But the yen is weak across the board. It's as well weak against the Canadian dollar, which is this chart again. Here we've got an S1 pattern. On the weekly chart, this is the corona spike bar at a very important level, and again here we are at an important charting construction as well. This is a resistance, and if the resistance breaks, well, we can see we should see a lot of bullishness. A lot of bullishness coming in. Now let's have a look at the Kiwi. So surprisingly, the charts tell that there's a lot of Kiwi strength ahead as well against the Australian dollar. So how come? Well, first of all, again here against the yen, we've got the S1 pattern. We see a bullish move higher. We see a retest, which is not uncommon. And again here, we've got this very important March 2020 bar, right? It looks like, well, this marks a long-term low. And overall, well, that's another S1 pattern, right? So this basically, this spike, this was the lowest, the breakout failure low, March 2020, Corona panic of this S1 pattern. And it has triggered here some months ago, and it has not yet developed a lot of momentum, right? It has gone up, taken out or tested this stop run level, then it came back to the flat, and it's basically waiting now to go through this cluster, right? This cluster of stop run levels. So again, this acts as a magnet, push, pull to and push through, and then obviously this is then the most important level. So bullishness of the Kiwi against the yen. Now let's have a look, a strong pair versus a weak pair. Now let's have a look how the pound, the British pound, looks against the yen. Again here we had a pattern, right, that nicely triggered. As well here, this is a turnaround in trend, right? March 2020. It's an important bar, rejection bar at the bottom, which has basically marked the bottom, right? I mean, this is the lowest price here in this chart. It went even below this one, so that marks an important turning point. It's basically in a bottoming formation, right? And that's in an early uptrend, and we have already broken this level. So now the bulls are shying a little bit away from the 200, but there's a lot of bullishness right here in the chart. And should we go? Well, this has bottomed nicely, right? We see multiple bottoms here, and it looks like it's time for a run higher. And these are very important levels here. For the bulls actually wanting to go to. Now let's see a couple of more. Let's have a look at two strong pairs, pound versus Swiss. Right? It's always interesting to see, okay, which pair is actually stronger, because both are strong. We can see here, well, the pound is stronger than the Swiss. Why? Well, we've got a bullish S1 pattern here, bullish for the pound and bearish for the Swissy, right? We already have seen the pounds to run better than the Swiss. Again here, we've got the March 2020 bar, right? An important turning point. We're already moving higher. It was still in this space, right? So that's a counter trend trade basically. And these are nice stop run levels, right? I always like to see stop run levels in higher time frames, because this offers a lot of potential to develop a trade into a swing trade. There's a lot of room to go, and this is basically the trajectory I'm foreseeing for the pound. So something is brewing for the pound. Both are strong, but the pound is even stronger. So it looks like the Brexit, getting out of the Europe, seems to be something that is helping the British, or it might be something with the pandemic that they are going to get over it pretty soon. Well, earlier than other countries. Now let's have a look both strong pairs, the Kiwi against the pound. Which one is stronger? Well, I've talked about that already last year several times. We actually have here a double pressure, right? We have got two patterns. This is one pattern, a bearish pattern. This is another bearish pattern. So this is one pattern within another pattern. That's double pressure. And should this trigger short, well, we should actually see a lot of momentum to develop. Nice big red bars, a consecutive move. I'm expecting seeing more than that, right? more stronger follow through. We are not there yet. We're still here basically in a waiting position, but the Kiwi, well, once this level gets broken lower, that's basically the trigger level. If this level gets broken lower, well, I'm actually expecting a big move lower. So the Kiwi is stronger than the pound, which is quite surprising, right? We might actually see some good news coming out of New Zealand. That is good for a bullish Kiwi. Now let's have a look. It's always interesting as well to see, because they're somehow correlated, right? The Australian dollar versus the Kiwi. And we've been in a long stretch here, and a very long consolidation and a very thin one for many years. I mean, that's basically 7, 8, 9 years, right? We're in a consolidation. Or whenever we consolidate, we'll actually like that, because this is energy stored. We see as well how the volatility is calming down. Here we see some big moves, but we don't see that here anymore. Bars are getting smaller and smaller, and the swings are getting smaller and smaller. We've got these levels here, right? Lower lows and lower highs and higher lows. So these offer stop run levels actually on both sides. However, we're coming from a downtrend. Well, this is a consolidation, and typically a consolidation is a trend following consolidation. Well, if price breaks lower, well, that means Kiwi strength. Well, if it doesn't break lower, it's actually not that important here for this chart, because it can run in both ways, right? We've got stop run levels on both sides. We might actually see nice momentum to develop. Now let's have a look at one more, which is the Kiwi against the Euro New Zealand. And here, well, it's very clear, right, that this has marked an important turning point, March 2020. A big rejection bar. Well, there was a rejection bar before already, right? So it's basically just it's turning around, right? So it just needed, well, it has been consolidating for quite some time. Well, it just needed another spike, right? A bull strength, and that got slaughtered by the bears. So this is always an important sign. That's a trap in the market, right? And I'm looking forward to, well, this is the momentum move. This is a consolidation. Well, it's actually a pattern, right? An S2 pattern, and well, we should see some bullishness here of the Kiwi against the Euro. So this is it for the year. So we should see Kiwi, pound, and Swiss strength. And we should as well Canadian dollar strength, and we should see, which is not a surprise, we should actually see US dollar weakness together with a continued yen weakness. So interesting months ahead. Thank you.